And let me tell you right now, the moment this exclusive Part 4 footage rolled across my screen, I knew immediately that this was the most unhinged, unbelievable chapter of this entire saga, because who pops up again like a cursed jump scare? That damn KK, Christina Coram, back in the middle of the mess she swore she escaped. 6 days before his arrest, you have Diddy himself calling her from that hotel, practically sweating through the phone, saying, "Kay, you're in this too. Help me find a solution." Do you understand the level of panic you must be in to tell someone, "You're in this too"? That means Diddy is basically admitting she's not some innocent assistant. He's implying straight-up involvement. And the fact that she thought she dodged this entire Netflix documentary just to be dragged back in for Part 4 is poetic justice. She wasn't in Part 1, not Part 2, not Part 3. She probably lit a candle thinking she was safe. But no, Diddy said, "Bring her back." And baby, they brought her back. And it gets worse because in this exclusive footage, she's seen having these quiet, shady little conversations with Lil Rodney and the rest of the team, acting like all of this was normal day-to-day office stress. But the second Diddy's panicking, he's on the phone to her, exposing himself and her. KK is going to be livid knowing her name is trending again, dragged back into lawsuits, dragged back into documentaries, dragged back into public memory. And honestly, we're not forgetting her. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. But let's talk about who else is suddenly everywhere in Part 4, Justin Combs. More than Christian, which shocked me, because Christian is usually front and center. But Justin? He's popping up in every corner of that hotel footage, talking strategy, talking lawsuits, stressing about Don Richard taking the famous black man down. As if any of this is about fame, when in reality it's about accountability. And what Lil Rodney confessed, Justin and Diddy going into rooms together with women and doing things, freak-offs, gunshots going off afterward, someone bleeding on the floor. Justin is way more complicit than anybody wanted to admit. I said it years ago. Those elder sons are not innocent bystanders. They are not children who don't know what's going on. They've been right there, doing damage control, assisting their father, protecting the kingdom because they want their position, their money, their inheritance. People cry about the daughters being emotional in court, the sons begging the judge for leniency. But why should anyone feel sorry when those same kids were in the rooms, in the halls, in the meetings helping their father silence victims? They were not helpless. They were helpful. They didn't want to upset the billionaire patriarch, and they didn't want to risk losing a place in the will. That's the reality. Part 4 shows Justin everywhere, in the hotel, pacing the hallways, on the phone, plotting, whispering. While Diddy is spiraling, begging people to fix everything for him, Justin is right beside him, like a lieutenant in a collapsing army. How can anybody defend that? And yet they all want sympathy on sentencing day, crying, shaking, sobbing. Please. You weren't crying when victims were begging for their lives. You weren't crying when all these women were traumatized. You weren't crying when your father told you to clean up his mess. So why would the public cry for you? And then we see Diddy completely exposed by Lil Rodney, by Capricorn Clark, by Aubrey, by voice notes from Kella Harper. All confirming what we've been saying for years. This man has never been remorseful. Never accounted for anything. Never once reflected on his actions. When he wasn't in front of Judge Arun, pretending to be some humbled, spiritual, reformed billionaire, he was on the phone screaming at people. Make a statement. Fix this. I need you to handle this. Justin, you need to act because God told me to do nothing. Religious psychosis on full display. As if God is out here sending divine messages to a demon who's busy running freak-offs with his sons. That's the part that makes this even more sinister. The freak-offs alone were sick enough, but participating in them with your sons, watching your sons with women, being nude in the same room, what type of demonic, corrupted, ritualistic power trip is that? This is sex magic, energy harvesting, control, domination, not normal behavior. It's witchcraft-level egomania. And yet this is the man the public is defending? This is the man people were cheering for during the Lifetime Achievement Award just 2 years ago? It's sick. The industry is sick. And then when you see how Netflix laid out Part 4, the jurors' confessionals, that's when everything clicks. Because these jurors weren't neutral. They were starstruck fans. They were confused about DV patterns, confused about emotional testimony, confused about kidnapping allegations. How are you confused? DV survivors often act fine the next day because that's how coercion works. Kidnapping victims can get emotional when they see their abuser in court. That doesn't mean their memory is fake. Yet these jurors were bending over backwards to excuse Diddy's body language, his nodding, his presence, but tearing apart every emotional reaction from the women. They were paid, compromised, or simply blinded. And when I saw them leaving the courthouse smiling, yeah, something rotten was happening. And now the documentary confirms it by letting them talk, exposing their own stupidity and bias. Part 4 is the most brutal chapter because it doesn't just expose Diddy, it exposes the system that protected him. The yes men, the sons, KK, the security, the jurors, everybody. And this is where everything truly spirals, because the more you watch this documentary, the more you realize that Diddy genuinely believed he was untouchable. Like he genuinely operated for decades under the delusion that nothing, no body cam footage, no hotel records, no audio leaks, no lawsuits, no victims, no former employees, could ever destroy him. And that's why this exclusive behind-the-scenes footage he filmed himself is so insane, because he literally incriminated his own self-thinking he was building a legacy comeback production. He didn't even realize he was archiving evidence. That's how deep the ego goes. And the fact that he is storming around those hotel rooms, pacing, breathing heavy, calling KK every 5 seconds, demanding Justin find a solution, demanding someone go fix the narrative. That is a man who knows the empire is cracking but still thinks he can strong-arm the universe. And KK? Don't even get me started. She wanted to slip into silence, thought everyone forgot her name, thought she escaped part 1, 2, and 3. But the universe's hands, baby. There she is all over part 4, exactly where she didn't want to be. Her name dragged right back into the mud because Diddy himself kept calling her for help while the pressure cooker was exploding. And then you have Lil Rodney exposing the freak-offs, exposing the grooming, exposing the manipulation, exposing how the entire environment was built on fear, money, and obedience. And what did Diddy do when the Don Rashad lawsuit dropped? Immediately panicked. Immediately called up every single person he ever controlled. Immediately tried to recruit people to say something. Help me clean this up. Help me fix this. That's not innocence. That's desperation. That's a man who knows the walls are closing in. And the calls to Kella Harper? Those voice notes? Man, he sounded like the world was ending. Begging, pleading, whispering, threatening, switching tones every 2 seconds. That's not normal behavior. That's someone who has spent his whole life burying fires with money and intimidation and suddenly realized neither one works anymore. It's like watching an empire collapse in real time. Even crazier, the way Justin Combs is moving inside this documentary. The way he's showing up in multiple scenes. The way he's trying to help his dad strategize. The way he's defending him. The way he's trying to spin things. It's giving co-conspirator energy, not innocent child energy. You can't be in rooms with weapons, substances, freak-offs, people crying, people bleeding, and then years later act like you were a confused little boy. No, you were a grown man participating, obeying, benefiting, and protecting your dad because you cared about the money, the lifestyle, the inheritance, the fame. And the part that made me sick was watching these kids cry in court like they're victims of the system. Meanwhile, part 4 shows they were right there helping their father intimidate people, silence people, control people. How are we supposed to feel sympathy for children who were literally participating in covering for one of the most powerful predators in entertainment history? Crying on sentencing day doesn't undo what you were doing behind hotel walls. The internet saw everything now. There's no going back. And when Lil Rodney explained that Justin and Diddy would go into rooms together with women and substances, and that gunshots went off while they were in the same damn room. That is not normal father-son bonding. That is not we were scared. That is participation. That is complicity. That is grown men engaging in behavior that should have put both of them in handcuffs years ago. And the PR damage? Oh, they're ruined. They're absolutely finished. Music, brands, acting, appearances, endorsements, over. Because nobody wants to touch a family that was actively involved in covering up crimes that span decades. Nobody buys the "we were scared of him" excuse when cameras show you protecting him, supporting him, strategizing with him. Scared people run. Scared people hide. Scared people break down and confess. You weren't scared. You were comfortable. You liked the power. But here's the real kicker. When you have multiple women, multiple employees, multiple ex-associates, multiple victims, multiple jurors, multiple leaks, multiple documents, and literal exclusive footage, and all of IT paints the same picture. You cannot tell me the man was misunderstood. You cannot tell me it's complicated. You cannot tell me, but what about the good music? No, it's a pattern. It's a system. It was organized. And the judge literally said that. Organized crime. RICO behavior. But somehow only one man is sitting in Fort Dix. Make it make sense. The documentary exposed something even bigger. The corruption inside the courtroom. Those jurors laughing, smiling, starstruck, admiring him, dismissing victims because she cried too much. What are you talking about? Crying is literally what trauma victims do when the man who hurt them sits 5 feet away. But the jurors sympathized with Diddy because they were fans. It's sick. It's dangerous. And now it's on video forever. And this is where everything truly breaks open, because the energy inside that hotel room shifts from panic to pure desperation. Diddy isn't just ranting anymore, he's unraveling. He's pacing back and forth, shirt half open, hair all messed up, phone in his hand like it weighs 10 pounds. Justin Combs is standing in the corner, looking like he wants to disappear into the wall. One of the security guys keeps glancing at the door like he's expecting the feds to kick it down right there. And Diddy keeps repeating the same line over and over. They're lying on me. I was good to these people. But nobody in the room believes it anymore. Not even him. He suddenly grabs his phone, scrolls through his contacts, and starts calling people who stopped answering him months ago. Industry executives, old friends, former artists, people he burned, and one after another, they decline the call. You can actually hear him whisper, pick up, and when they don't, he just laughs, this weird nervous laugh, and says, they all turned on me. They all turned on me after everything I did for them. And Justin tries to say something like, Dad, maybe you should relax, but Diddy snaps back. No, you don't understand what's happening. You don't understand what's coming. Then he says something the room goes silent for. If one more person flips, if one more person gives something to the feds, it's over. That line alone changes the entire temperature. Because that tells you he already knew things were being handed over. He already knew the leaks were coming from the inside. He already knew someone close, someone he trusted, had finally said enough. Minutes later, he gets another call, a private number, and this time he answers it immediately. You can't see who it is, but the tone in his voice shifts fast. He goes from frantic to cold. Ice cold. He says, you're not going to do this to me. Don't forget what you signed. Don't forget what you agreed to. And the person on the other end must have said something he didn't expect, because suddenly Diddy's face drops. His mouth literally stays open for a second like he's in shock. Then he says, if you talk, everything goes down. Everything. The footage then cuts to him throwing his phone on the bed, grabbing a drink and chugging half of it, pacing again. He starts talking to no one in particular, saying, they want to destroy me because I'm powerful, because I'm the biggest, because they can't replace me. But you can hear one of the guys in the background whisper, this isn't about power. This is about what you did. He says it quietly, but Diddy hears it. And that moment, that one line, is when Diddy completely loses it. He storms toward the guy, gets in his face, yelling, what did I do? What did I do? Tell me what I did. Tell me. And the guy doesn't say a word. He just stands there frozen because he knows one wrong move can blow the whole situation up. Justin tries to pull his dad back, saying, stop, it's not helping. But Diddy shakes him off like he's not even there. Then, almost out of nowhere, he sits down on the edge of the bed, elbows on his knees, hands over his face. He's breathing hard. He's sweating. And he finally says something real. I can't control this anymore. That's the first time he admits it out loud. The first time he acknowledges the empire is slipping out of his hands. The first time he isn't pretending to be invincible. But the footage doesn't end there. A few minutes later, you hear a knock on the door. Everybody freezes. One of the security guys puts his hand out like, don't move. Another one peeks through the peephole, turns back, and whispers, it's her. And the whole room changes again. Because her, according to what insiders now confirm, is one of the key people who eventually turned over evidence. Someone who had direct access. Someone who saw everything. Diddy stands up, wipes his face, straightens his clothes, and says, let her in. The door opens slowly, and she walks in with a small bag in her hand. No smile. No greeting. No warmth. Just straight seriousness. Diddy asks, you got it? She nods, hands him the bag, and then she says something that freezes the entire room. This is the last thing I'm doing for you. You can see Diddy trying to process it, like he didn't expect her to draw a line that firm. He says, don't talk like that. And she replies, they're coming. You know they're coming. And I'm not going down with you. She turns around and starts walking toward the door, and Diddy tries to stop her, saying, we're in this together. But she doesn't even look back. She just says, not anymore. And when that door closes, Diddy's rage turns into something darker, hopelessness. He stares at the bag, opens it, looks inside, and whatever is in there makes him drop it instantly. The camera catches the moment his entire expression changes, from fear to defeat. He whispers, "It's too late. It's already too late." The final seconds of the footage show him walking to the window, looking out at the parking lot below, and saying quietly, almost to himself, "They're going to take everything." No screaming, no ranting, no bravado, just the reality finally hitting him. And that was 6 days before the arrest. This is the moment everything started to collapse, not from the outside, but from the inside. Not from enemies, from the people who were closest to him. The ones who finally broke the silence. The ones who refused to be part of the cover-up anymore. The silence. The ones who realized that protecting him meant destroying themselves. And in that moment, everyone in that room knew the truth. There was no fixing this, no covering it up, no spinning it into another industry narrative. The machine had finally stopped working. Because when the people who built the walls around you start walking away, the walls don't just crack, they collapse. And that hotel room became the first place where Diddy wasn't the boss, wasn't the legend, wasn't the untouchable mogul. He was just a man staring at consequences he thought he'd never have to face. What makes this footage so chilling is that you can literally see the empire draining out of him. Every call unanswered, every favor denied, every loyal face turning cold. You can almost hear the clock ticking toward the moment the feds would show up with warrants in hand. And that's where this part ends, with the truth hanging heavy in the air. A truth Diddy kept running from, but one that finally caught up to him. The fall didn't start with the raid. It started the moment the people closest to him stopped being afraid. Part 4 continues from this exact moment. The panic moves into strategy, the strategy turns into desperation, and the desperation turns into the final days before everything came crashing down.